Hey everybody, Ben with KCT back again here, and I've got another one for you guys. So this is the Lapg slide rail XWL. Lapg, you say, as in LA Police Gear. I'm one of those cool kids that says things like Riz and Baby Gronk, therefore I can use the term Lapg. So there it is. So this light itself here is a clone of the TLR1, and it is the Strobe version. Now, it's a lot like being in a long-term relationship with your mother. It seems fine on the surface, but beneath the surface there's something that's a deal breaker. It's an absolute killer, and it's the reason why I'm not with her anymore, and I won't be with this light anymore. So, if you want to hear about it, let's take a look at it. But first, like, share, comment, and subscribe, because all those things do help out the channel, and they are free for you to do. Feel free to throw me money, do whatever you want to do. I don't dance, but I do pull up my pants and do the rock wave. So if that's something you're interested in, take a look at it. So what is up with this? Well, first of all, it's kind of like me. It will hit on your mother and sleep with her, and then wait till your next birthday party to tell you what a bad lay she is and joke about it with all of my friends before proceeding to get drunk and sleeping with her again. Lather, rinse, and repeat. Lots of lather, actually. But, and there's always a but, let's explain what that elephant in the room is with this light. Now, much like your mom, it will bend over backwards to please you. And by that I mean you can go ahead and loosen up the screw right here, which, much like your mother, after 2 pints of tequila, loosens right up. And you can slide the light forward and backward, however you like, on the rail and lock it in there. So kind of say it bends over backwards to please you sometimes. So that is the big nice thing. That's why they call it the slide rail, because no matter what sort of rail you have, whether it's a Glock or something else, there is that little piece in there that will adjust to your firearm and allow it to mount up securely. So we've got that out of the way. It does go ahead and use the two 123R or 123A batteries, and you can go ahead and pop this little door off once you take the light off the gun and pop them out just like you would on a Surefire. Now, it's a pretty decent light. It's got good lumens, good output, about 800 lumens, I believe, and the candle is pretty decent. It does a pretty good job of throwing light downrange, but the controls are what kill it. Now, I am not a fan of the little rocker switches, and that's, you'll see right there, that's what the problem is, on TLRs, but I figured I might as well get to learn them because they're popular and everybody uses them. I'm more of a push button or paddle guy. Definitely more of a paddle guy, actually, when I get my VDSM kink going, but, anyways. But these switches here have something that really, really kill the light. Now, I didn't realize it was the Strobe when I bought it. I didn't realize that there were 2 different models, but there are. So buyer beware, caveat emptor. Make sure you check what you're putting in your cart and in your body, whichever way it goes in. And so the problem with that is with the Strobe model, it will strobe if it's double pressed in any way, shape, or form. So normally we would get normal light, right? Not a big deal, no problem. Now that is temporary there. Of course, I can't really temporary it while shooting because my trigger finger would need to go back to the trigger. So you can go ahead and activate it with your thumb, whatever you want to do. Keep your finger on the trigger. However, there is constant on. So I can go ahead and press up with my thumb, and you can see we're already getting strobe there. Or I can use my trigger finger, go ahead and lock that down, have my constant on. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, when I release it, it happens to pop up. As you can see, that switch is now in the top position. And that's just from my hand pushing it. So it tends to go from constant on to momentary when I take my finger off the switch, if that makes sense. If not, I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully it does. So what happens is, as I go, there's the strobe again, I go constant on, do whatever I need to do, off. Now if I need it again, and I go to press constant on, I go right back to strobe. So there's really no way around getting the strobe function going. It just wants to activate all the time. And so you have your double press. So there's the double press there. But you can do that and lock it in constant on mode. It's just one of those things where even if I'm using my left thumb, so if my finger is on the trigger there, or off safely, there we go again. I go to lock it on, goes right to strobe again. So anytime that I need to use it twice, if I need it twice in rapid succession, like, oh gosh, there's another bad guy, or I'm moving from cover to cover, and I need to turn my light on the other side of cover, when I turn it off and move, when I turn it back on, more than likely I'm going to get the strobe function. So that to me is useless. It's one of those things where it probably sounded good on paper and they wanted to incorporate a strobe in the main design and couldn't do it, so they created a second SKU for strobe and solid beam, versus one that just primarily solid. It has like a 10 tap in there that you could do a strobe as well. So they just made two different ones. It's just not good. It's just not good. Don't do it. It does have ribbing on the bottom, kind of like your mom. And it does disperse heat, kind of like your mom. Kind of. But, yeah, I'll never get it that hot because it's actually going back in the box to Lapg. And they're going to send me out a regular one. Now, again, when I purchased this was my mistake. I did not intend to get the strobing option. In fact, I specifically didn't want that. And then when I got it, I was like, okay, cool, there's a strobe function. You have to be able to turn it off, because I believe the TLRs, they have a 10 tap as well, because I don't really use TLRs. And they're able to lock out certain functions. Oh no, this is legitimately the slide rail XWL tactical light with strobe. So this is what it is, and there's no changing it. There's nothing I can do as far as locking that out. If I could, man, I would, because I actually do like this light. I don't like the paddles, but you know what? I'm willing to work with it because, again, a lot of people use stream lights, and I'm willing to try it as well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here and see. It does say on high. It does have a 800 lumens. We're reading this box here. And distance of 210 meters, which, okay. I'm never going to find that out on this light because it's not going to the range with me. It's going back to the box. Yeah. And it says it went through countless hours of research and testing, countless samples, yada, 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 unique functionality, bibbidi-boo. 1.5 hour runtime, that is pretty awesome. They do include the batteries, and it will actually fit all the holsters, supposedly, that a TLR1 fits into. Now, I don't see, I don't remember if there's a manual here. I didn't see that earlier, but, and there's always a but, let me just show you a couple features of this light real quick, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, so this is the underside of the light, and here's that part that bends over backwards, again, like your mother, to please you. And once you loosen that screw, again, apply tequila, there it is. You go ahead and slide this little piece forward and back multiple times until you finish, and it will lock into whatever rail that you'd like it to. So if you have a Picatinny rail on your gun, it'll do that. If you have like a Glock rail, it'll do that. Batteries, just really easy to get to. Pop that little thing off the back there. Open up the butt. There are two hard driving cells that keep you vibrating all night long. Go ahead and push that back in, because you know you like to. And hit that little doodad there, flip it down, and it is good to go for the rest of the night. The bezel is, as far as I can tell, not removable. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You've got your vents there, your cooling fins, and your switches, which immediately goes right to strobe. So, there is one other good point about this, though. Again, it does attach just like a TLR1, because it is a TLR1 clone. Right down to the super spinny dial that attaches on there, the one that you can't get any force onto, but somehow either seems to lock up ridiculously or come off at the most inopportune times. Actually, this has been really good as far as staying on. But, I digress. This is a Blackhawk L2D holster, and it is designed to fit a TLR1 and essentially whatever Glock that you put in there. So, it does fit. There's a little bit of wobble, but there is with most holsters, even the Safarilands have some wobble to them. So it is compatible with a TLR1 holster that locks onto the light. Easy to remove. Stays locked in there. Easy to remove. Good to go. So if you are in the market for one of these lights, and I think they're like about $65 is what I paid for it, which is not bad at all. Once I get the actual one back, I will be doing a review on the actual light. This one will go back. But, again, see previous references, always a but. I would not recommend that you get the Strobe model. If you do, I think you're going to be disappointed. I think you're going to be disheartened. I think you're going to want to send it back. And, yeah, it's not a good model. The other thing, too, is that, and it's really hard to see on camera here, but let's go ahead and, you see how that, like, it does, like, almost like the strobing thing from Alien? I know, it's mesmerizing. When towards the end of the movie, they're going through the ship, and it's that weird like 80s VHS like strobing effect. That's pretty much what it looks like in real life too, and it sucks. Now normally you have a really good strong beam. It's got a very, very good output there. It looks pretty decent, but then you know you go to strobe, and you just see this weird, like, Willy Wonka, you know, the rowers keep on rowing kind of thing going on. And it's not good. So, guys, if you're going to go ahead and get one, get the standard one. Don't get the strobe one. If you do, make a video about it and make lots of mom jokes, because it sucks and you shouldn't have it. Like sex with your mom. More for you later. See ya.